All right, so now we're back with Jade and her baby, and I'm just getting the curry comb and brushing his back, and he really likes that idea. He's like, I think I can get some more of that going on here, okay? So I'm just kind of controlling the environment, and I'm not putting the halter on quite yet because I just want to get him used to me being around him with the brush. And you know, he's good. I mean, he's used to being touched and all. Where what happened when he was a little baby, a couple days old. Mickey was just telling me that when he was a day or two old, he got caught in a fence, got shocked, and that just kind of gave him a different outlook on things. So we got to kind of. If I had not known that, he's already told me that what I'm going to try to do here is I got to get him over that, you know. So sometimes for a horse to trust you, they have to forgive something or somebody else. Now, he got caught in the fence. That wasn't nobody's fault, but he's got to somehow overcome that, you know. He's living in the past a little bit, and we got to get him now living in the moment. And the moment is things are working out good right now. As long as I stand still, this nice guy is going to scratch my back just like my mommy does, and I like that, okay? So as we progress here, let's talk about setting some goals. Like by the end of the day, I want to have a halter on this baby, and I'm going to get him softened around and moving around. Might even work with his feet a little bit, we'll see. But we're going to allow the situation to just fall into place through circumstance. And there's no cookbook or there's no manual to this. That every horse is different, every situation's different, every day's different, and I've got to kind of allow things to take shape. That sometimes things work better than others. See there? I'm going to scratch his jaw. But like right now, what I'm doing is I'm getting him okay with me being around him. So rather than me introducing me to him with a rope in my hand, it's with a brush, okay? So now when I put my arms around him to put that halter on him, he's not gonna wanna get away from me because he's associating this luxury that he's receiving through my actions, okay? So see there? That's why I say this curry comb is about the most valuable tool you can have in the barn. I used to work at a ranch years ago, and we fitted a lot of show cattle, and one of my mentors always walked around with a curry comb in his back pocket. Had it with him everywhere he went, and when we'd feed the cows even in the mangers, he'd walk down through there and he'd give each cow just a little bit of a stroke down their back while they were eating. We never had trouble with our cows because they liked us. What they didn't know, we was planning on eating them eventually, but we didn't tell them about that. Well, this little guy, we're gonna ride him maybe. We're gonna find a good home for him. So see here, I'm gonna do it on both sides. Everything you do on a horse, you do on both sides. Particularly a baby, okay? So if I just worked with this baby on the one side and I've had adult horses come in here that wouldn't let me get on their right side because everything's been done on the left. But some ruffian thought they was a trainer. They just throw a saddle on them and climb on their back on their left side and take off right. Well, that doesn't do us any good. You got to be able to mount him from both sides. We got to work with him on both sides. So we got to prepare his mind on both sides. His brain is exactly in two halves. There's all kinds of scientific analysis on that, and I don't know much about it other than it's the truth, that I have to allow him to exercise both sides of his brain for this to work out. And before all that scientific research was, we all knew that anyhow. They've known that for thousands of years. People are that way too. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my halter out of my pocket, and I'm going to put it on. I'm just going to introduce him to it. I'm going to try to keep this rope here on the mother because I want to keep her in place. So you see, folks, how nice this is if you take your time and you're not forceful and you're not in a hurry. We're not making a rodeo out of it. We're earning his trust. So when we first started these videos, I said relaxation, trust, softness. Okay, so now we've got relaxation, and now we're going to work on trust. Okay? So he doesn't trust me. He doesn't want me to put it on him. So now I got to earn it. I'm going to earn his trust. See there? Now I'm going to retreat. Now he wants more, see? So if I'd have pushed it, I could have put it over his head and wrestled him down and put that halter on there and put the rope on there and drug him around a half a day to teach him to lead. But you watch and see, if I earn his trust, I almost bet you $1 to get you a dozen of donuts. This guy will lead right off the bat, because he trusts me, wants to be with me. See him? I'm letting him smell, and I'm going to just retreat now a little bit, and just kind of take the pressure off. We're going to relax. So I'm going to take a few minute break, and then we'll come back in just a few minutes. All right, so my little friend here has decided to come around to my way of thinking, okay? That's good, that's what I'm after. But before I put that rope on him, I want him to really be comfortable with my hands, okay? Ooh, 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 ooh. So see how things came apart when I did that on purpose. I wanted you to see that. When I got just a little bit too much pressure, he wasn't ready for that, okay? That's all right. So now we're going to try it a different way. But while we were on our break, I was telling Nikki that what we're witnessing here is part of my journey in horsemanship. You know, 40 years of accumulated experiences, knowledge, mistakes, trying things all different ways. Doing this year after year after year has got me to this point. So, you know, I get people call me all the time and they're like, oh, Ted, this, that, and the other, and you do such a good job, such and such. I'm like, no, you know what, you guys? I've come up the hard way like everybody else, and I've learned everything the hard way, it seems like. But what I'm showing you right now is an accumulation of a lot of years of my wife and I doing a lot of things right, but then we did some things wrong too. You know, I remember years ago taking these babies and making it a lot more, I don't want to say violent, but it was a lot more energetic than this, I'll put it that way. It was almost like a rodeo. And we're just going to do our best to avoid that here. So see, here a little bit ago, I gave him too much pressure and he didn't like it, okay? So now I cool it back a little bit, cooled it off. And you can get a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old acting just like this, okay? So this is how you do a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old too. But I'll tell you this, it's a lot easier right now. You know, little things all add up to big things. And if I handle this right, and if I take the day or the half a day right now to just do this right, just for one day even, I could tell you so many stories about horses at this age or a little older that when they were 3 years old, 4 years old, that one day I spent with them at 4 months or 6 months old that one day that I sacrificed to work with him, he remembered that when he's 4 years old. I've had him where I've turned him out for a year or two and brought him in, and it was like they'd have been turned out a day. They remembered everything we did 2 years ago, good or bad. You know, that's one thing I got to remind you, is that sometimes they'll learn bad habits just as fast as good habits, and even faster. So I got to be real careful here that I don't teach bad habits, because it seems like they are easier to learn than good habits. So you see how there's just one little spot there. He doesn't want me there. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch him a little harder, make it feel a lot better. Before it's been a little softer. Now I'm going to increase the intensity of it a little bit, like he's rubbing on a fence post or something, making it feel real good. So see there, I'm rubbing his neck, and I'm making it harder. So I started out real soft. Now I increased it, okay? There. See, now he's liking that. Now I'm going to try it on this side. Now you notice I got the halter in my hand while I'm doing this? Did that on purpose. So now I'm going to take the knot on the rope, and I'm going to use that to scratch him with. I'll scratch him with the rope. I want that rope to be something that he's favorable of. He's not afraid of. He's never seen a rope before. But I guess at this stage in the game, I can't overemphasize. If we didn't do this right, I could get him to where he hated a rope. We had a horse in here a while back that you could just tell when he was little, they lassoed him. A bunch of cowboys lassoed him, drug him down, choked him off, put the halter on him, rough on him. Well, you know, there's that horse now, 5, 6 years old, and it took us a while to get that horse haltered and handled. But see, he associated that violence to a rope. Well, I want this guy to be like his mom was. When I pulled the halter out, she just put her nose in there, and we just went on about our business, okay? So let's pause for a minute, and I'll work a little bit, and we'll come back.